missing someone.
Hey, this is Bond Diesel bringing you a long-needed, in my opinion, Intel Insights. We haven't had one of these in a minute, and the last ones I'm going to be doing, this is the second to last one. I did the last one on the first 4 SHIELD audio logs, and that's what we're going to do with this one. So I'm actually going to listen to all 4 audio logs, Sacred, Phoenix, Talon, and Rebel. Then I'll talk about them a little bit, how I think these are going to tie into Division 2 and how they may be tied into Division 1 as well. And the last Intel Insights we will do in February when the final SHIELD comes out. So let's listen, and then I'll chat, and we'll go from there.
Can you imagine trying to navigate all this shit without Isaac?
Oh, hell no. We'd be screwed without it. I may have bitched about it when we first got activated, but I'm a believer now.
I hated it at first, too. Felt like someone was always looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, and the chatter. Warning, agent. I swear I was hearing that in my goddamn sleep. It's a miracle we didn't throw those watches away.
Yeah, good thing we didn't. All the stuff we use Isaac for now, environmental scans, materials analysis, motion detection, it's been a lifesaver.
Yeah, I mean, we're trained and we've got the gear and all that, but Isaac helps put us over the top. Without him, we'd be in a world of hurt.
HQ, can you read me? I've got a downed agent here.
Careful. LMB has been rigging bodies with IEDs to take out cleanup details.
This isn't my first rodeo, HQ. Huh. Isaac's telling me this one's first wave.
Man, where does Keener keep finding them?
Keener? What do you mean?
Well, the entire first wave either went with him or got gunned down by him. I wonder which choice this one made.
The kill's execution style and the body looks like it's been here a while. I'm guessing he said no when Keener tried to recruit him.
Keener, that fucking guy. We'd have this entire island under control if it wasn't for him.
You heard the latest on him?
I heard he left the island somehow. I don't believe it, though. Until he sends me a postcard from Hawaii, I'm gonna assume he's still right here.
Base, I got good news, and I got bad news. Bad news is, I'm dying.
Negative on that, Agent Sutton. We're locked onto your position, and we're sending a team to medevac you.
No time for that. I lost too much blood. Don't get anyone else killed for me.
Don't pull any of that martyr shit, Sutton. We're coming to get you.
No. Listen to me. I did it. You hear me? I found the Rikers that took out my squad, and I made them pay. I rescued the hostage they taken too. April. April got away clean.
That's some good work. But we're gonna scramble a rescue detail regardless. Just hang on.
I told you, it's too late. I'm losing feeling in my fingers. That's bad, right?
Just hang in there, okay? Help is on the way.
I'm gonna just close my eyes for a minute and save my strength.
Don't do that, Agent. Stay with me. I know it hurts, but you gotta stay with me. Agent? Agent Sutton? Doug?
I don't know, Ducky. The longer this goes on, the harder it is to know who to believe. I mean, I know who not to believe. That Velassi guy. But beyond that, God knows. I mean, nobody knows nothing. But people talk. And what they're saying is not good. What are they saying? That the president's dead because we haven't heard a damn thing out of the White House in ages. That the rest of the world is just as screwed as Manhattan is, and that somebody, well, maybe the Russians, maybe some rich assholes, was responsible for the dollar flu, and that this Amherst guy was secretly working for them. Man, it's all crazy, Ducky. And we don't get any news, so I don't know what's true and what's bullshit. But if you ask me, bet on the bad news.
So all 4 of these ones are actually fairly interesting. The first 4 were a little hit or miss. 2 of them were kind of funny, and 2 of them had a little more significance. But these 4 all, I think, hint to something in Division 2. The Sacred Shield talks about how much the agents love Isaac and how much it's helped them, and blah blah blah. I think there may be a little wink wink in that, and maybe having to do with Division 1 and its progress since release. But I also think it may be hinting to some kind of possible loss of Isaac in DC. I've been predicting this for a minute, that when we start off in DC, we may not have all the shade systems that we've been accustomed to, but we will see. But I really like that one. I think it's kind of interesting. The Phoenix Shield is interesting because it's talking these people who are saying that they don't know where Keener's getting all of these agents, how the whole first wave was killed by him or recruited by him, and they aren't sure whether he's left or not. So this leads me to believe they aren't aware of the West Side Pier intel and even some of the underground intel that makes that suggestion pretty clear. And we know Division 2 is in DC, and Julian Garrity has confirmed that Keener will be there, involved in the game in some capacity. So this one isn't, not too deep or interesting, but you're kind of getting kind of a layman's outlook on what's going on and what happened to the first wave. The Talon Shield is a wrap up from one of the shields, I forget which one it was in the first 4, that you hear from Doug Sutton. And if you don't know who Doug Sutton is, he was the remaining member of Noble Squad when they were ambushed and killed by Rikers from the original game. You did I believe a missing person on them, where you see the progress of the fight between this Noble Squad and the Rikers, and they picked them off kind of one by one, but Doug got away and then vowed revenge, essentially, found where the Rikers were and attacked them and killed them all, but sustained some pretty serious injuries himself. The significance of this, Doug Sutton, is that if you read the Division 1 book, the New York Collapse, which is about April Kelleher, you find out that she is rescued by Doug during this attack on the Rikers that he commits. And that's who she gets. I believe she gets his gun and his backpack that has the Isaac on it, and it leads to some interesting situations later on in her journey. And he mentions her in this. So in the first 4, we hear him alive. He's talking. He's a character, and it was very odd. Obviously, this Talon Shield kind of wraps that up and shows us that was kind of a distraction, and that he really did die. If you go to the apartment where April was rescued and where he died, he's still there. So this rescue mission that they were setting up must not have ever even went, because his body is still in that apartment covered by a sheet. I believe April covered him. So that's a nice little wrap up of his story. The Noble Squad was always one of my favorite things from Division 1. And finally, the Rebel Shield is a guy talking to a toy ducky. You hear the ducky squeaking in the background, but he's kind of talking about he doesn't know who to believe, that it's hard to tell who committed this, who was responsible. I'm wondering if that's supposed to be, the story as we know it is Keener with Amherst and the crew, and even Tchernenko to a point, were all responsible for doing this. But this is kind of, I think, setting the seed for the idea of Division 2, where it's an enemy within, and that maybe this was all not completely orchestrated by who we think it was. Maybe there were more hands at play. So I thought these 4 shields were cool. I'm really glad we got them. I've enjoyed listening to them. I get excited every month when we get a new one. Obviously that helps kind of the lead up to the Division 2. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you want to check out the previous video, I will link it down in the description. Be on the lookout for the 3rd and final intel insights for Division 1. I plan on doing these again for Division 2 in February, right, a couple weeks before the game comes out. So I hope you enjoyed. Hit all the buttons, share the things if you like this. And that was me, and until next time.